Hey guys, we are back for the Hear Me Out podcast. I know for the last 2 weeks you probably were looking for a video. Well, we are very, very busy people, but we do love y'all and we thank you guys for looking for a video if you were looking for a video. So, Cheer Speaks, Rex Castillo, Jack Patterson, here for the Hear Me Out podcast. We are going to be talking about the NBA playoffs today and then going into a little college football. So, remember to like and subscribe to our videos. We're going to continue to try to put these out as weekly as we possibly can. But sports is back, so we are back busy, guys. Am I right?
Yes, and I could not be more excited.
All right, guys. So NBA playoffs have started. Again, we talked about a couple weeks ago. We didn't even think we were going to have an NBA season, but our playoffs are here. And I said that I wanted the Lakers to win. They finally won a game against Damian Lillard and the Trailblazers. And I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably because Damian dislocated his left index.
I don't know. That they had that game pretty locked up before that happened. So I won't say it was solely because of that, but that pretty much eliminated any chance of a comeback happening.
Okay.
CJ McCollum's back. So
I think it was at 111.88, 111.
Yeah, it was pretty dominant.
Okay.
I was joking with Jack. Like I'm pretty sure LeBron's pregame speech was like, "All right, y'all done messing around? Y'all messing around?"
Well, you saw the videos
you didn't use that exact terminology, Rex.
We'll keep that censored for the uncensored podcast. But I did see the videos of KCP and Danny Green staying a little late shooting around because they are the 3-point shooters for that team. That's the primary people that you can kick the ball out to on the elbow and get a three. But they were just not hitting that first game.
Danny Green needs to find the Danny Green that played in San Antonio. I don't know. He wore number 4 in San Antonio, broke Ray Allen's record, and now he's wearing number 14 because it was his college number, and he's not the same guy. But I think you're right, too, is that it's just a matter of rhythm. A guy like Green, when he has that kind of record shooting ability, it just takes time. KCP's the same way, but you can't shrink in these playoffs. I mean, you're right. Damian Lillard's range is half court. And CJ McCollum and everybody else, when they play out of their minds, you fall behind really, really quickly. So
Very true.
If you're going to play a team like the Rockets, where D'Antoni wants to average 53s a game, they're going to make threes. It's just going to happen.
D'Antoni is slowly changing the game of basketball. 53s a game. That's 150 points if they make all the threes. That's a lot.
I like the numbers game of it. I get the numbers make sense, but like what we have grown up understanding the game of basketball, It makes no sense to watch. It literally looks like someone set 2K on easy and just shoot the ball.
Look, and I used to do the same thing when I played with my sister, and then she's going to watch this and be like, that's why you were winning. I used to have all my sliders up, and that's what it feels like. I feel like when playing the Houston Rockets, they just hit threes back to back in the same way with the Trailblazers. All of a sudden, Melo is just this three. He just makes threes out of nowhere in traffic. Pretty Melo for the last 2 years, that it really paid off.
And he plays defense.
He plays defense.
So
which
also,
is what the Lakers are lacking. He's a good defensive guy. The Lakers are lacking somebody on defense. I mean, they have Deion Waters, who's pretty. I mean, he plays defense sometimes, but other than that, they don't have anybody.
LeBron can't play defense all the time. He still needs to reserve his energy. And even Anthony Davis, the scoring load is more on him. When you depend on JaVale McGee, who's a big body but when you compare it to him, Hassan Whiteside, like Whiteside's averaging 3 blocks a game. So the guy down everything. It's still really fun though to see McGee and Dwight Howard on the blocks at the same time. And then you put Davis on the 3.
Yes, it's so weird. And I'm still trying to figure out what Frank Vogel is doing in that, what he's thinking about when he makes that lineup, because it's a lot of big men. That's 4 big guys on the floor at one time. And JaVale doesn't play defense that well. And he also doesn't, them right under the basket shots, he doesn't make them very well. So I'm just like, okay, is he in there for a presence? But he's not a scary presence. The guy weighs like 100 pounds. What?
That's
very
messed.
small.
I
Now
honestly think
not-
Vogel's is trying to make it easy for Shaq and the Fool to figure out what they're going to pick from.
You know what? It's so easy. That Shaq doesn't have a lot to choose from nowadays, but he always gets on JaVale every single time.
So I also do think that like this is where Danny Green can also be an X factor because he was also a great base down blocker when he was in San Antonio. Unfortunately, just that guy hasn't shown up. And LeBron with that kind of Danny Green who can also shoot threes, underratedly, I think Danny Green could be an X factor in this whole thing.
You just needed Danny Green from Toronto too.
Yeah, the same Danny Green from Toronto. He just I don't know what's going on. Maybe his foot's off the gas because he does play with LeBron and Anthony Davis. But if he can step his game up to where he was in either Toronto or San Antonio, these guys become, for me, clear away favorites to win it all.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the crazy thing and how the Magic beat the Bucks that first game.
Well, I mean, this is becoming the Magic's MO, right? I mean, they did it last year to Toronto. You know, they threw everybody off. You know, Toronto was far, you know, they win the number 1 seed. Everybody thinking, oh, they're going to probably sweep the Magic. And then the Magic comes out and beats them in Toronto. And then they come back and they do it again this year where, you know, everybody thinks, oh, Giannis and the Bucks are going to run over the Magic. And then the Magic comes out and stuns everybody by winning game 1. I mean, it's kind of their MO. The key for them is, can they keep it up for a 4-game set? I mean, for a 7-game set. Right now, they haven't done it. You know,
no,
they
haven't.
Just went up 2-1 on them. So, like I said, you know, it's fun if you could do it for a game. Show me if you could do it for more.
They don't have anybody on that team that's consistent.
Agreed.
That's the thing. They don't even have a who's their star player. I wouldn't say it would be Markelle. I don't say it would be who else do they have down there?
Terrence Ross.
Well, Terrence Ross is he's old. I mean, he's still good, but he's old. Elfrid Payton, does he still play there? I don't even know wwho's on that roster.
This would be a good case of who he played for.
Exactly. Yeah. You could take that entire roster, but I am glad that Markelle Fultz, his confidence is way up, so he's looking like top draft pick again. I think it was
the pressure of being the guy coming out of college. It's after 1 year, and you got to go and lead these veteran players. That's a lot of pressure.
Not everybody can handle it.
No. Not everyone can handle it. He wasn't playing in the ACC or any like really ridiculous basketball conference. Pac-12 is good, but it's not producing. You're not facing Duke's, North Carolina's every.
Probably the 5th best basketball conference.
Exactly. So if he was, I mean, the fact that they tried to change his shot. This guy got to the NBA. Now you're changing the one fundamental thing he has. Like,
it's a mind game. Ugh. I'd be mad if somebody tried to change something on me, and I'm a professional now. You trying to change my shot? What?
All right, we leaving.
Right, that's it. Can't do it. Okay, so Houston is taking on the Thunder.
This man had a tough time concentrating in the office the other day when that game was going on.
Yeah, tell the people about that, Jack. Tell everybody what's going on.
So Thursday, we're you know, for those of you who don't know, me and Rex work in the sports office here in Columbus. So we share an office, and we had the TV on ESPN watching the playoff games. It just so happened that the next game coming on at about 4:00 in the afternoon was game 2 between OKC and Houston. So we're over here just, you know, fired away at work. And I noticed that I was like, I just go over and I'm like, Rex, are you going to be able to concentrate? Are you going to be good? He's like, yeah, why? And then he turns up to the TV. Damn it.
I met deadline. I did meet deadline.
Look, it ain't got to be pretty, but it must make air. I
thought it looked pretty good, but at the same time, after there were stretches there, the Thunder made it really interesting because CP3 is just an amazing point guard. You give him snaps, and he'll make them come back.
He is, especially at his age. I was just telling my dad the other day, I was like, what LeBron is missing is that really good point guard. And what I think people, and I said, well, what about Chris Paul? And he was like, that extra year to come back, it's a lot, especially on the older players. What I think a lot of people forget to remember is that these players get old. And we remember CP3 when he was on the Pelicans. The Hornets, the New Orleans Hornets, and how good he was. And just like you said, people want to. Danny Green has to go back to being that San Antonio Spurs Danny Green or the Toronto Raptors Danny Green. People forget San Antonio Spurs was what 3-4 years ago.
Longer than that.
Danny
Green was on the team when Kawhi Leonard was.
Yeah.
So the fact that Chris Paul can find himself again, and I think he's one of those players that you can only have one star player, which is why he didn't work out in Houston with James Harden, and even James Harden and Russell. It's still not working out that much because they have set themselves apart so much to the fact that they have to be like LeBron, and it just be LeBron and then smaller role players. But now CP3 is in Oklahoma City, and he's doing good. Do I think they're going to win that series? Absolutely not. But it's still enough to be like, hey, I think I can add 2 extra years onto my contract, maybe $100,000 extra.
I mean, let's just think about this. How many of y'all, by a show of hands, thought the OKC would be the 5 seed in the West going into the start of this year? I didn't. I didn't have them in the playoffs.
Absolutely not.
So the fact that they were the
it's CP3, is it Jeremy Grant on that team?
Yeah,
Even Adams still.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's on that team. But no one thought that they were going to be in the playoffs. Nonetheless, a 5 seed. So the fact that we're even talking about them in the playoffs is saying a lot for what CP3 has done for that team.
I'm going to have to agree with Jack on that one. Like, this roster, by all means, on paper, has no business being in here. This roster should be competing for a top draft pick. But at the same time, Chris Paul as a cerebral point guard and just using what he has around him is completely amazing. So I think he could be a good point guard in a system where he has another superstar. I thought while Houston, it wasn't perfect in Houston, it was working. And it was to the point where, again, we were in the lead to eliminate the Warriors at home. And then CP3 decides to tear his doggone hamstring and bleh.
There's the open wound.
Just God.
I was digging. I was waiting on it to come. It's okay.
Ultimately, though, I have to agree that James Harden works better with a Russell Westbrook because at the end of the day, Russell will miss more 2s than he will 3s. So, okay, he play up or he misses this stupid mid-range elbow jump shot that he loves so much. I don't know why. Get the rebound back. We'll find somebody to make a 3, and that's how you make up for it. But CP3, just him and James Harden needed, out of a 24-second shot clock, they needed 8 to 10 seconds to dribble and figure things out. We're falling behind against the Warriors. Like, we can't do that.
Okay. I was waiting. It's always a little more. What I do like to see is this small ball lineup that the Houston Rockets are doing is actually working. I like it. I don't like how short PJ Tucker is at the 5, but it works.
Tyson needs to get some run towards the end of these closer games. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I have to agree that, like, PJ Tucker's also an absolute pit bull down there. So I love the way he plays. But when you get to a close game against, like, Giannis or the Lakers, where if they're down 2, all you need to do is put, like, LeBron, AD, JaVale, and Dwight Howard. We ain't getting a rebound. It's not going to happen. So
that only works if Anthony is a little more aggressive.
Yes.
The second game, he was aggressive. But that first game, I don't know if he was trying to fill it out or whatever, but he just was not aggressive to me. And that is why I cannot consider him top 5. Not yet, because he's just not aggressive. And then I didn't like the fact that LeBron only scored 10 points.
I think
LeBron wins over stats, but
LeBron's trying to give this team to AD, but Anthony Davis has always been on the outside looking in. Remember when he was with the Pelicans, they were always like the 8 seed or the 7 seed. Now he's the guy on the team. So LeBron is like, look, I need you to do this now. I can't do this for the entire. Now, again,
you got to change your mindset.
Yeah, no, but this needs to be AD's team.
Okay.
And truthfully, I think, granted, LeBron scored 10 points. I think if it was needed, LeBron would have scored more. I think LeBron did what the team needed him to do on that night. I don't look at him scoring 10 points as a negative. I look at it as LeBron was more concerned about making sure that the team won. And the fact that they won with him scoring 10 points, that's fine. And truthfully, in the playoffs, it ain't gotta be pretty as long as you win.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
So what do you think they need to do going forward, guys?
Game 2 needs to be a blueprint. Game 2 needs to be a blueprint. You need Anthony Davis to play more aggressively. You need your wing guys to pick up the slack. If they can keep doing what they did in Game 2, they will be fine. But they cannot sputter like they did in Game 1. Those games have to be at a minimum.
I have to agree with Jack too. There's blood in the water right now because Damian's hurt. We don't know what you're going to get with CJ because he's inconsistent. And Anthony, the way this team is set up, not for him. So you need to do that again and possibly even more. So because you would think there would be a home court advantage or like try to make a big statement on the road. But the fact that we're in this bubble, I think AD needs to go for 30, 35.
And that's what I've been saying. For both of them to be the star players on this team, they need to be averaging 30 points a game. 30 points. There's no reason why it should have been 10 and 18. I understand getting other people involved, but for them to be star players, you ignite your offense. You ignite your teammates. If I see LeBron, things going in for LeBron, I know, okay, he's going to count on me at some point. I'm going to need to do what I have to do. But I already know I can 60 points set aside for these two guys.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
10 and 18, no, absolutely not for the Lakers. Now, if you on the Magic,
not in the playoffs.
And that's what I'm saying. For 10 points, I don't mind if he scores 10 points, but that he should have had 10 points. Just 10 points starting off the game. Mm-hmm. Like, before jump ball, I got 10 points. But the fact that he only had 10 points, I don't like that. Not for LeBron.
And I think this is where, like, Shaquille O'Neal on that analysis group made a good point. It's like, I need him to be the guy. You need to be like Shaq was. Because when you knew the Shaq and the Kobe Lakers stepped on the court, like, all right, they're going to get 40.
It's here, right.
Mm-hmm. What can we do to keep up?
And that's the only way they're going to make it out of this and not have to play 7 games against Damian Lillard.
Because in a 7-game series, it's a toss-up. If it goes to Game 7, I say it's a toss-up.
Absolutely. And I don't –
especially when you're in the bubble. Like, at least in in normal times, Game 7, you're playing in the Staples Center. You have home court advantage. There is no such thing in the bubble. Right. So, anything goes down in the Game 7 in the bubble. So, like, if I'm on these higher seeds, like, you've got to close it out. Like, these seeds that are losing Game 1s and stuff like that, put them down while you can, because if you mess around, you lose a couple of games, and then you end up in a Game 7, it's a crapshoot.
Got to go with the underdog every single time because they don't have nothing to lose. You do.
We didn't get March Madness, but we're kind of getting it now with the upsets. We'll see.
Yeah, you're right. I'll take it.
So the fact that there's no home court advantage, do you think, if this is a proposal, what if they just pumped a little more crowd noise in on opposite games?
I don't think it would make a difference.
No?
I don't think either. There's just so much more that goes into an environment. I understand the crowd is part of it, but there's an energy. There's that I know it's corny to say, but there's that intangible energy that people have when they play at home.
Yeah, and just seeing a face.
Seeing a face, seeing the people out there cheering you on. It's
got
just
15 to 20,000 people in a raucous arena. Mm-hmm. Like, it's different. Like, we've all seen, the scenes, and we may have even experienced it a time or two. I know I've experienced it going to Atlanta Hawks playoff games. Like, it's an electric atmosphere that you really can't describe. But to see everybody in your colors cheering you on, that is different. And, whereas, you're in a bubble, like, yeah, you can pump in the crowd noise all you want, and you can, have everybody on the screen all you want. But in the grand scheme of things, you're looking at an empty 5,000, 10,000 seat arena. That's just the brutal honesty about it. So there's no home court in this at all.
So going back to LeBron, and if you guys can't tell viewers, I am a LeBron fan. If this was at Lakers Arena, do you think LeBron would have scored 10?
No. LeBron knows how to put on a show. LeBron
would have also won game 1.
Yeah, this would have been a 2-0 series, and I would say maybe the Blazers win this one, but they win this one in 5.
Yeah, I think the Blazers would have won game 3
with Damian's dislocated finger.
Yes, I think it would have been a lot closer, just because a guy like Hassan Whiteside, I think he plays so much better at home. And
Hassan has really evolved.
Mm-hmm.
Stand by. Phone fell.
He has Rex's camera. If you guys are listening in the car or running or anything, Rex's camera just got knocked over by the wind in his home. So
hey, you need good AC here in the South.
He's back.
So it wasn't the wind.
Thanks, guys.
So who backs up Dame? Who's their backup point guard? Does CJ move over to the 1 when Dame goes out?
That's a good question. Because I knew CJ
don't have an answer to.
But once Dame goes out, Dame would play. He would play all 4 quarters every single minute if he wanted to.
Yeah, of course.
Play all 48.
And the thing is, if we were professional athletes, we would too. I mean, that's just the love of the game. I am still trying to get me a Carmelo Blazers jersey because he's going to go down in history. I'm looking up their roster. So, Yusuf too.
But I also think this series is completely different if CJ McCollum was completely healthy, because apparently, his back completely jacked up.
Yeah, he has a really bad back, which came out of nowhere. It looks like Anthony Simmons is the backup point guard, and I'm pretty sure they would probably move CJ over to the 1 and then place Anthony in the 2. Or they probably wouldn't put Anthony in there at all and just move CJ over to the 1 and then just shift everybody around or add another shooting guard. I don't know what kind of ball they play. They play small ball. I think they play bully ball, big man ball.
Give the ball to Dame, get out the way.
Yeah, that's all that is.
And then they hit the post with Nurkic and Whiteside.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Okay, so coming out of this series, Lakers, Trailblazers, who y'all got?
Lakers.
Okay. Bucks, Magic.
Bucks are gonna win out.
How do y'all think Giannis is playing so far?
He turned it on in game 2, and he was fantastic in game 3.
Okay.
That series is over.
Okay.
If you can slow him down, I think that's your best chance, because Middleton has been playing decent until very well. But the Brooks brothers, the Lopez brothers are basically there to fill in the gaps. But Brook Lopez has been playing so well. That's what's been really amazing.
You know who's actually impressing me? Dante DiVincenzo from Villanova. He has to be that silent guy just on the corner, just waiting for the ball, and he plays amazing defense.
Oh, yeah. And he was the most outstanding player for the tournament, because he basically helped Villanova win that title. So the guy can play.
I remember that. I did my Grady News Source sports segment on his highlights.
He was the guy that had the assist for the game winner against North Carolina that year.
Yep.
So and another thing, and to go back to what you were saying, Shaq, about people who are silent, is that the Bucks 3-point shooting is great. You have DiVincenzo, but a lot of people forget Kyle Korver's still on that team too.
Yo, I completely forgot about that.
And
and you know what? Kyle has not aged one bit.
And
you can always count on him.
And listen, I always have a lot of love for Kyle Korver for what he did in Atlanta.
But
and he's still banging these threes home. Like, I don't care who you are and what team you are, to have a sharpshooter like Corver, even as he's getting older, to have a sharpshooter like that in your repertoire is insanely valuable.
Coming off the bench,
as we go deeper into the finals.
Cool stuff. So we had Bucks Magic. You guys said Bucks, Lakers, Trailblazers. Houston Thunder.
Really?
Houston Thunder.
Houston, but I think it goes to 6. I think the Thunder will find a way to win at least 1 or 2 games.
Okay. Give me Houston in 5.
Houston in 5. I'm gonna say Houston in 6, just because I like Chris Paul, and I think this team is. I think they got something.
And also to all the viewers who haven't watched the game yet, this has become flop mania, just because I love James Harden, but you know what he does.
That's true. Clippers Mavs game yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw Luka and Montrezl Harrell. Yes, they were going back and forth. I don't know if you saw it. And Luka told him to stop flopping.
I did not know Luka was that kind of dog, to be honest, and I hope he's okay.
I didn't know KP was either. KP has some bully in him.
Yep. And I think just
him up, he'd be serious.
So up and down. That is the most fun series to watch.
Yeah, it's good. And maybe 2020, some of these teams really don't like each other. There's no hanging out playing ping pong and stuff.
Bro,
they really don't like each other.
Luke is not shooting pool with any Clippers right now.
No, absolutely not. Still don't like how Paul George is performing.
No, and for the Clippers, if they're gonna
talk about people who need to step up.
Yeah, like the Clippers need him to step up now.
Yeah,
because they might be up 2-1, but as long as Doncic is okay, and it looks like he is okay, like this series is still incredibly up for grabs.
I'm gonna say,
It's a coin flip. I have to agree again. Like this is the one series that still feels like a coin flip.
Yes, you know what?
I'm going Clippers in 7 here.
I'm going Mavs in 7.
I was gonna go Mavs in 7.
I'm taking Mavs in 7.
And now I said Clippers because I just don't think that Paul George is gonna stay silent for too much longer.
If he explodes for like 35 one game, that's like, okay, that's the George they need.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who else do we have?
From Houston, though, I have to give props to Luka. That dude is just fun to watch.
From the guy who has hatred in his heart for the city of Dallas.
Stupid city up north.
Heat. Who you got on in the Heat series?
Man, I was pulling for the Pacers.
Victor Oladipo is such a fun story to root for.
Yeah, Oladipo, T.J. Warren. I was pulling hard for those guys.
Yeah, but T.J. Warren to basically grow up in the bubble, man. That was amazing to see.
But
Phoenix, you messed that one up.
You messed that one up big time. But I'm gonna go with Miami in this one, and I'll probably take them in 5.
Jimmy Butler is too much of an assassin right now, and he's bringing guys like Tyler Hero along, and Bam Adebayo is playing out of his mind. Like that's another dude. If he finds his consistency with his A game,
it'd be great.
That's a team that could go to the Eastern Conference Finals and put up a fight for it. So
yeah.
Who else am I missing?
The debacle that is the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yo. They just
the process is broken.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about the Sixers. They just I'm actually really tired of hearing Embiid just say, I gotta be better. Okay, you said that 3 years ago. Let's get going.
Show me.
Yeah. But the other side of that story too is shout out to Kemba Walker. From what I heard, if they pull this off, this will be the first time he advances in the playoffs in his career.
His first time advancing, and it was something else that they said. I couldn't remember. I can't remember what they said, but it was something else. But he's been playing very well.
And yeah,
Mostly
remember,
on-
Kemba spent so many years with the Charlotte Hornets or the Bobcats or whoever.
Oh, the Bobcats.
You know,
Woo,
and you know,
Bobcats.
and those teams were. Let's just be honest. Those teams were awful a lot of years.
They were terrible.
You know, but you know they really only had one team that, you know, could have competed in the East, and they got stuck with LeBron, facing with LeBron and the Heat
Mhm.
Yeah.
that 1 year. So, you know, this is really his playoff coming out party. So, and as for Philadelphia, man, that's just
That's just, it's close to a dumpster fire, y'all.
Yeah.
Like,
it is pretty much a dumpster fire, Rex.
I mean, Ben Simmons at this point, I get that, like, we want him to shoot threes, but he's also like 6'10" and can drive. Like, just let him do that.
Let him do
And
what he
He's
does.
also hurt.
Yeah, he's also hurt too. So, like, there was just so
But-
much. I like Joel as a player. I really, really do. And the dude is petty on social media, which is fantastic. But it's just not going to work this year. And Kemba and the C's are going to do it.
They brought in Tobias Harris for this reason.
Yeah, they did.
And they brought him in to help Ben and Joel, and it's not working.
How happy is Jimmy
Well,
Butler?
I won't say it's not working. No, it's not working. They're down 3. They're down 3 games.
And it's not going to work.
So let me ask you this, guys, because I think it's pretty safe to say, barring an absolute miracle, this series is over. It's probably over next game.
Yeah.
It's over now. It was over the beginning of the 3rd game.
Mhm.
So let me ask you this. Do the 76ers keep head coach Brett Brown?
No. Didn't they just
I
give
don't
him an
think so.
extension? They just gave him an extension, though.
I think they let him go.
I think they
Yeah,
have to.
you got to. You have to.
They
Just
have to
cut
let
your
him.
losses. You're not losing anything.
Or do you trade Simmons to try and get picks and a better piece to fit Embiid?
Both.
But I don't know, man, because you've been preaching this process for so many years. You gonna
It's true.
blow it up now?
You have to. You need to let the coach go. And you have to let Simmons. You have to let either Simmons go or Joel. Somebody has to leave.
I think we're all.
I'm taking. I like Ben Simmons.
I do too, but he's in the wrong place. He's just in the wrong
But
place.
where would you put him?
Oh boy. A tall point guard.
Because clearly he's not.
Right now, what he
Doesn't-
is a taller Russell Westbrook, but without the amount of scoring, is what I see.
Yeah.
I agree
So
with that.
you got to put him with some smarter veterans around him to kind of extend his career, or even take him to that next level.
But where do you put him?
Anybody can fit with the Warriors, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to. They're already gonna be Thanos next year, okay, Red?
They're at the 2nd overall pick.
Can't go to the
Everybody
Nets.
got the
Can't go
Warriors
to the
in.
Lakers. Can't go to the Rockets.
No, the Rockets wouldn't be like. There's just too many dudes there. The Mavericks might be an interesting fit.
I don't know, Rex. That's a lot of height.
That's a lot of hype.
To put him with Doncic and Kristaps, that's a lot.
Do you think there's a better chemistry in Minnesota?
He's gonna lock up. I feel like.
Yeah.
I was thinking. Did you say Minnesota?
I was thinking, is there better chemistry with Cat in Minnesota?
I was thinking that. However, if you do that, you have to let go of like
D'Angelo.
2 or 3 other players. And Minnesota just got the lottery pick.
They got number 1 pick. I could tell them somewhere to go.
Could you put him in Chicago, pair him with Valentine, and if they get Obi Toppin?
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting fit. But Jack, do you think Simmons works in Atlanta?
That's what I was thinking. Like, you know,
Yes.
like it's
Trey-
intriguing.
As a point guard? I mean, as a, 2?
Yeah, as a 2.
As
Because
2 or even a 3?
the jury is still out on whether Kevin Huerter will be the full-time 2 in Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, and you've got a lot of young pieces right there. You got DeAndre Hunter. You got Cam Reddish.
That's true.
You know, you got Clint Capella there. So, you know,
You know
And he
what,
doesn't take
Jack?
much.
I actually don't like. I don't hate that.
Well,
So,
yeah,
like,
the thing with Capella is he doesn't need the ball as much as Joel. Capella is a block guy, and as we saw in Houston, just throw up alley oops to him.
so
It's a
you
lot
still
more
got John
freer.
Collins too.
You also got John
So-
Collins.
So like, you don't think about it at first, but I'm like,
Mhm.
maybe like
That's not a bad idea.
It's not bad.
I wouldn't rule it out if I
You
was
got
a
Trey
GM.
at the 1. Who's their shooting guard?
Jack,
Kevin Herter.
Kevin Herter. Put
you make mistakes.
You got John Collins at the 3.
And the
You got
kid, that
DeAndre
kid,
Hunter at the 4.
Oh, that'd actually be a pretty nice line.
And Clint Capella at the 5.
If Ben gets better with his 3-point percentage.
And
Does-
that would be the key.
doesn't need it. Just drive, bro. Because in Atlanta, now you take the ball out of Trey's hands, and you can make. I don't know how good of a spot up shooter he is, but at the same time, you have more spot up shooter options in Atlanta.
That's true.
I like it.
Because-
Let's go ahead and
Because
send it
Collins has got range. DeAndre
Reddit.
Hunter can take it in the paint. You got Capella who's good in the
Right.
paint. And, Trey can shoot it from the doggone CNN center. So
That's very true.
I like it. Let's go ahead and send it to Steve Koonin and everybody up in Atlanta. Let's do it.
Yeah, and Jack, with that deal, can we get some good seats for next season?
we'll see. We'll see. You know me. I don't go to games unless I can get me a good deal up front. So
Well, thank you so much, guys. We didn't get into college football like we wanted to, but we took a deep
Because we
dive
run up miles a
into
lot.
the playoffs. Hey, I mean, it's good conversation between 3 good friends and
Yeah.
our extra co-host who sits and watches us through whatever you listen to your podcast through YouTube or anything like that. So again, guys, we want you guys to like and subscribe. Tell us in the comments what you would like us to talk about. We will definitely talk about anything. We don't just want to sound like regular other podcasts that you guys have listened to. So again, guys, for Rex Castillo, Jack Patterson, I'm Shakira Speaks. We'll be back again next week with our next picks. Did we miss any teams? I just want to make sure we got all the teams. Lakers, Trailblazers.
Nuggets, Jazz. Give me the Jazz.
Ooh,
and 6.
Spider Mitchell's been playing out of his mind, y'all.
I'm going to take the Jazz too.
I'm
Give me
taking
the
Jazz.
Jazz and 6.
Yeah.
Actually,
And
Wait.
I'll take the Nuggets in 6.
really,
Ooh, Joker. You're taking Joker and Jamal.
Jamal has a gear that we have not seen yet.
He needs to use it more often.
I'm gonna say he's got to get it going because they're
He's
down
too
2-1.
friendly. He's too friendly.
He's too nice. And Donovan
This is the time to be
Right.
in the bubble to really be
All right,
like,
guys, we got to go because this thing's gonna shut off on us.
you're right. Oh, we got less than a minute. Okay, guys. Hey, we'll talk about this next week. Thank you, guys. Hey, follow us. What's y'all's Twitter handles?
At J Patterson TV.
at Rex Guest.
And I'm speaking on _TV. Thank you guys so much for watching us. We'll be back next week.